4. Building trusting relationships. Let's talk about building strong relationships with music supervisors. Though often overlooked, this step is important. You may feel prepared to pitch your music, but building a trusted relationship with music supervisors is just as crucial to ensuring a positive reception of your pitch. To understand how to get in the door with a music supervisor, you need to understand this concept of solicited versus unsolicited material. You'll often encounter companies that will simply shut you down by telling you they do not accept unsolicited material. What does this mean, and what do you do when this happens? If a company tells you that it doesn't accept unsolicited material, they only like to deal with their existing and trusted sources. Keep in mind that these companies, the top 20% that music supervisors prefer to deal with on a regular basis, also started out initially as untrusted, unsolicited sources. You too can work your way toward becoming a trusted source, provided that you have the skills to navigate the waters of the music business. The key is not to become a source among many, but a trusted and reliable source for high-quality music. It's your goal to figure out how to move from being an unsolicited source to becoming a solicited source for music, someone that music supervisors will trust and turn to for music time and again. There are 2 levels to becoming a solicited source of music. Level 1, a music supervisor gives you permission directly to send in a representative compilation of your music for review. If your music is suitable and of high quality, the music supervisor will then consider your music for current and upcoming projects. To get that permission is quite simple. Just pick up the phone, make a brief introduction, and ask for permission to send in your music. Level 2. This level of being a solicited source of music is the more desirable one. You ultimately want to become a solicited source for music for specific projects, as opposed to being kept for consideration in a general database. The advantage of being considered for specific projects is that you might be invited to pitch music for solicited projects and suggest specific songs that might be more suitable than the tracks that you previously submitted in your general compilation. This is a difficult level to get to, but anything difficult is worth doing. With this in mind, let's examine 3 specific strategies you can employ to move from someone unknown to someone with whom prospective supervisors would want to work. How to start building a strong relationship. 1. One-on-one meetings. Getting a one-on-one, face-to-face meeting is by far the most difficult technique, but also the most effective. Anytime you can set up one of these meetings, it can turn out to be a big win for you. It's understandable that many music supervisors will tell you that they simply don't have the time to meet you. If you have a small catalog, 10 songs for example, well, it doesn't make much sense for supervisors to take the time. So how do you get a one-on-one meeting? The best way is to invite a music supervisor out for lunch to a trendy restaurant or for drinks after work. This gesture provides a music supervisor with an incentive to accept the meeting, even with someone unknown. After all, who doesn't like a free lunch? You could also try your luck with music coordinators who work very closely with the music supervisors. These people do a majority of the grunt work, including chasing after rights holders, listening to catalogs, sorting music by genre, and so on. 2. Networking events. If you live in Los Angeles, London, or New York City, one of the best ways to make an initial connection is by attending networking events and conferences. There are many events held throughout the year, especially in Los Angeles, since that's where most of the film industry's music supervisors are located. Organizations like BMI, ASCAP, Media Mondays, Honey Pot, and others frequently organize music and film industry networking events for their members and also to recruit new members. Once you're at an event, try to meet as many people as possible, especially the speakers and panelists. Typically, these events are structured in such a way that there's an opportunity to meet with panelists afterwards and ask questions. Many people will try to speak to the panelists, so you have to be smart about both how and when you approach them. Remember, because so many others are trying to meet the music supervisor, you won't have much time to speak to that person yourself. Asking the music supervisor basic questions that you can easily research on Google yourself are both a waste of their time and a wasted opportunity to make a memorable impression. Be the one that stands out from the crowd by starting an engaging conversation about industry trends or complimenting the music supervisor on a specific song he or she discovered, and so on. That'll get their attention more so than asking questions about how many songs they listen to or how much they generally pay for a song. Many music supervisors might even mention what projects they're currently working on and return to their office with a box full of CDs they've received from people who attended the event. Bottom line, come prepared. 3. Get introduced. Let's say you actually go to a networking event, but you don't get the opportunity to personally introduce yourself to the music supervisor. Then what? Don't underestimate the power of networking events by just meeting other attendees. The likelihood that someone from that group of people has already spoken to the music supervisor is quite high. A music publisher that already has an existing relationship with the music supervisor can give you tips and advice on how you could potentially approach that person. In the best case scenario, he might be willing to introduce you to a couple of people. In return, you might wish to reciprocate and offer a few introductions to that person as well. Alternatively, you could offer to share your leads and insights. 4. Film festivals and global conferences. Many festivals and conferences, South by Southwest, Sundance, MIP-TV, Meetum, can also open doors to influential people, directors, producers, and music supervisors alike. These events typically feature some panels. Some are dedicated entirely to music and film and TV, and you'll have many opportunities to meet top music supervisors there. While this is a more costly endeavor, you might have easier access to top industry executives because people are more open to networking there, as only professionals can afford to spend the thousands of dollars required for the flight, hotel, conference fees, and so on. Just think of hanging out with a popular director at a Sundance after party and the relationship you could build during that time. 5. Phone communication. Building trust from far away. If you aren't able to set up a face-to-face meeting or attend a networking event, you can try cold calling a music supervisor by phone. Many music supervisors are open to receiving submissions without a call ahead of time, but the drawback is that you miss out on building a personal connection. Many music supervisors are too busy to take direct calls, and you'll likely speak with an assistant or a music coordinator. Take this as an opportunity to build a connection with whomever you can, because in the future, that person, if it's not the music supervisor herself, could become a music supervisor or help you in another way in the future. If you do get to speak to a music supervisor directly, you should be ready to state your credentials or interesting tidbits about the music you have. Music supervisors are more likely to at least take a minute to speak with you if you have an interesting story. As an example, placements in other TV shows or films. A cool indie band or artist that's getting a lot of positive press or has a substantial social media following. A song that was co-written with someone famous, and so on. It's unlikely that music supervisors are going to reject an individual or a company that has outstanding music with great credentials, especially if the company in question has the type of music that this music supervisor may use in film and television projects. Your task then is to come across as highly professional. Prepare a great 30-second elevator pitch to get a music supervisor's attention. How to build a long-term relationship. 1. Lunches, coffees, and quick meetings. Depending on how far along you are in your career, meeting with a music supervisor will become second nature. It's not unusual for music supervisors to meet with their most important suppliers of music multiple times a year, whether formally in their office or more informally for drinks or lunch. The continued interaction gives the supervisor the opportunity to discuss current and potentially upcoming projects and other things that you can only find if you build and maintain a constructive relationship. 2. Be available on standby. Many music supervisors stay in touch with their key music suppliers via instant messaging services such as Skype and WhatsApp. From time to time, they might just pick up their cell phone and call you to bounce ideas after a spotting session so that they can quickly turn around requests from clients. This typically happens if there's some urgency to the situation and if the supervisor knows that 1. You're likely to have something ready and suitable, and 2. Are available to answer their calls anytime, including nights and weekends. The more available you make yourself, the stronger a working relationship you can build with a music supervisor. Non-standard approaches to standing out. I want to suggest a few approaches to make you stand out. Typically, music publishers approach music supervisors to sell them music. But few publishers take the time to provide support and find ways to help music supervisors. So, what are some ways to do this? Support their networking and marketing efforts. Music supervisors go to marketing events to raise their own profiles. They do presentations to market themselves to the entertainment community. People that attend these events aren't just those looking to pitch and place music. There are film editors, film directors, and producers looking to hire music supervisors. You may already have valuable contacts you didn't realize were valuable. Consider offering introductions proactively and keep your eyes and ears open, as you might be able to help a music supervisor with insights into upcoming projects. You might have connections in other realms that could help raise the supervisor's profile. For example, a friend working for a prominent blog might be interested in writing a story about an upcoming TV show and the cool music in it. Don't underestimate your existing network and how it could benefit others. One additional useful strategy in making a connection is to help a music supervisor with difficult requests. For example, let's say a music supervisor is working on a project that requires a non-mainstream type of music. As an example, Spanish flamenco music. Now, you may want to reach out to your network of music publishers to see if you can identify someone who can supply that type of music. This is why you would want to be friends with other people in the music business, not only with supervisors, but with other music publishers, labels, and so on, in the US, but also abroad. Key takeaways. Introduce yourself in whatever way you can, on the phone, in person, at a networking event, or at a festival. Be available. Making yourself available 24/7 could make you a more desirable business partner and increase the number of opportunities. seek ways to help a music supervisor, and build trust.